to oppose that. The idea that there'd be somebody named Donald Trump who would come out of the field and take over and then eventually win the White House was completely unknown to them at that time. So Graham really ran his campaign, which lasted a very brief time, to stop one opponent, and ended up in a completely different campaign won by Donald Trump.
Okay, Byron, if you could stand by with us. Our coverage continues as we do await the ceremonial swearing in for Darlene Graham, the sister of the late Senator Lindsey Graham. Let's bring him back in, our Fox News contributor, Ari Fleischer. Ari, I was moved by a couple of things I saw here that Lindsey Graham has said about his sister Darlene. Of all the things that have happened in my life, Darlene turning out so well is the highlight of my life by far. Of him, she said, Senator Graham is kind of like a brother, a father, and a mother rolled into one. Lindsey was also my parent. There was no doubt in my mind or anyone else's mind that Lindsey was my guardian. Incredibly close they both were.
Yeah, what a beautiful word, my guardian. And that came from a child who lost both her parents when she was 13 years old.
Oh, hey, all right.
Every 13-year-old girl needs a guardian.
All right, they're about to do the ceremonial swearing in. Sorry for the interruption. Let's listen in here.
Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear that you will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that you will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, that you take this obligation freely, without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that you will well and faithfully discharge the duties of the office on which you are about to enter. So help you God.
I do.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
God bless you. Oh, you want me in this picture too? Tell me when I'm supposed to get out of the picture.
You're the best looking one here.
Okay.
All right, so they're taking a family photo there. So Darlene Graham Nardone has been officially sworn in and ceremonially sworn in to take her brother's seat for the rest of her term. What a historic moment, Sandra.
Yeah, I believe those are her two daughters, Emily and Nicole. Beautiful shot there. Thanks so much for joining our coverage here. I'm Sandra Smith.
And I'm John Roberts. Be sure to follow our social media accounts for all things America Reports. The story with Martha starts right now.
Yeah, thank you very much, you guys. What a moment, and certainly one none of us expected to see happen this week. Good afternoon, everybody. There's Senator Charles Grassley and Graham Nardone, the new senator, who has taken her brother Lindsey Graham's spot as the senator from South Carolina. And it is really a moving set of days around this shocking news of the death of Senator Lindsey Graham of South Carolina, now replaced, at least temporarily, by his sister, Darlene, who was very, very dear to him. Let's go to Chief Congressional Correspondent Chad Pergram. Chad, your thoughts on what we've just witnessed and what lies ahead?
I think what's amazing about this is just how quickly it all happened. The idea that they got somebody into that position very quickly, and it was somebody in the family. It's somebody who was near and dear to Lindsey Graham's heart, to his younger sister, who he adopted after their parents died and raised them. I thought that was very significant. And again, talking to people here in the United States Senate this morning, you heard from a lot of them that this is kind of, appropriate, that they felt that Darlene Graham is kind of a bridge back to her late brother. And they look forward to meeting with her and getting to know her. Dick Durbin, the Democratic whip, he signaled earlier, he said, I want to go down, and had never met her before, but had worked with Lindsey Graham on a lot of immigration issues, didn't always see eye to eye, but Lindsey Graham signed on to the DREAM Act, which was something very important to Dick Durbin. And she said, I just want to thank, her, for, giving us Lindsey Graham, somebody who was very important, in the country, somebody who is devoted to policy, devoted to foreign policy, and to public service. So I think that's something that's very important today in this poignant moment.
Yeah, Chad, we're just watching this scene as it unfolds on Capitol Hill. She has said that she wants to be there for Lindsey because he was always there for her. And she said, now it's my turn to be there for him. And she also said in the statement yesterday that she wanted to complete some of his work. So it sounds as if she wants to see some things through for him. Give us a sense of what that might look like and whether there's any chance that she might become a candidate for this seat.
Well, I think it's significant, answering your second question first, the idea that nobody has formally jumped in. I think some of that was to, let her take her place, see how this goes. Maybe there is some indication here that maybe she does want to run. We really don't know. I thought it was interesting that Ralph Norman, the Republican representative from South Carolina, he indicated, over the weekend that he was probably going to make an announcement on Tuesday. Monday, he signaled he wasn't going to do that until later in the week. We found out just about 2 hours ago that he's going to make his decision, make his announcement one way or the other tomorrow. So we're waiting to see. And in terms of the policy stuff, I think that's going to be something very important to her, and I would look at the Russia sanctions bill.
Yeah, we just spoke for the podcast that's going to drop tomorrow with Representative McCall, who's been very active alongside Lindsey Graham from the House side and the Senate side in pushing for this sanctions bill against Russia. What are the chances that that passes in the Senate? Certainly there's emotional momentum here, but do you think it will get across the line, Chad?
Well, the fact that it's been frozen for so long and the fact that they were coming out of this recess and the late senator, had been in Kyiv and said, I think we have an agreement here. You had somebody like Chris Coons say this might end the Russian war with Ukraine. So I think just the fact that they think it's carpe diem, time to seize the moment, and maybe seize that moment in the name of Lindsey Graham, frankly.
All right, we will see. We know that there's a lot of momentum right now between Ukraine and Russia, and people are hopeful that perhaps a ceasefire could happen, and maybe this sanctions bill could be what tips that balance. We will see. Chad, thank you very much. Chad Pergram, as always, our expert on Capitol Hill. And we're also keeping a close eye on what's happening in Biddeford, Maine. There are growing protests in the street after the second deadly shooting by ICE in a week. Now, a change from the top, ICE pausing most traffic stops as a method of apprehension for now, until agents get increased training on these kinds of stops. According to sources, we're going to dig into exactly what's going on around that today. Homeland Security saying that the officer who opened fire in Maine yesterday was, this is a quote from them, fearing for public safety. We know that there are investigations that are underway right now into exactly what happened. Now, DHS says that last week's deadly shooting in Texas was self-defense after a driver rammed an ICE vehicle with his van. The three passengers say that the officer was not in front of the van. So there is a lot of camera, a lot of video around these incidents, and certainly the forensics of the cars on the scene that are part of these investigations right now. Important to follow all of that through. Correspondent Alexis McAdams reporting live here in New York. Hi, Alexis.
Hi, Martha. So, yeah, still a lot of unanswered questions here as we try to dig in more. Federal sources are telling Fox News ICE enforcement numbers are going to drop drastically. That's something they want people to expect. But they say the pause is necessary because agents have to go through additional training right away. So the pause in most vehicle stops during immigration enforcement operations follows two fatal ICE-involved shootings in less than a week. One was yesterday morning in the state of Maine, where DHS says a migrant who was in the country illegally was shot and killed by an ICE agent. The agency says the suspect tried to flee the scene before the shots were fired and was not the target of the operation. There were protests again today as people marched to an ICE facility, an ICE office not far from the scene, calling for a full investigation, as at least one Democratic representative tells people, come and fight back in Maine.
If you're on your way to Maine right now, thank you. If you're standing up and fighting in your community, thank you. If you're doing everything you can to protect our values, thank you. But if you're someone who can do more, then we need to do more.
So we'll see who shows up. This comes as some Maine Democrats are trying to replace Graham Plattner in the upcoming Senate race, and they're calling to abolish ICE, something longtime Republican Maine Senator Susan Collins, who's up for re-election, says just doesn't make sense. Back here in the studio, it's a story we'll continue to follow as we try to reach out for ICE. And they say that pushback is probably going to be coming because, Martha, the vehicle stops have been one of their most effective enforcement tools.
All right, Alexis, thank you very much. And we are also monitoring reports of new U.S. strikes on Iran. We are just minutes, less than an hour away now from the restart of the United States blockade. You can see where the initial U.S. blockade line is on the map that you are looking at. So this is reforming as we speak. The purpose is to block the entrance of the Strait of Hormuz in order to block all in and out traffic from Iran, allowing all other traffic to pass through. President Trump says that the United States will be, quote, the guardian of the Strait of Hormuz. Correspondent Lucas Tomlinson reporting live from Tel Aviv tonight. Hi, Lucas.
Good afternoon, Martha. On President Trump's orders, U.S. jets have been launched tonight to strike Iran for the 6th time in the past week. Earlier, President Trump met with Iraq's new prime minister. He's only been in the job about 2 months, and like President Trump, has a background in construction and media.
What we do have is the oil companies are all going in now, and they're doing partnerships with Iraq, and they're getting along very well. The relationship is a whole big relationship where we don't need the military.
Iraq's prime minister said all 2,500 U.S. troops in Iraq will leave by late September. Last night at sea, strike aircraft launched from the George H.W. Bush and the Abraham Lincoln. Lincoln has now been at sea, Martha, for over 200 days without a port call. F-35Bs also launched from the amphibious assault ship Boxer nearby. Tomahawk cruise missiles also fired from destroyers in the strike groups. Despite the American bombardment over the past week, Iran has been launching attacks of its own against neighboring Gulf states, including Kuwait and Bahrain earlier today, where U.S. troops are housed. This is the aftermath of an Emirati tanker hit by an Iranian cruise missile last night, killing 1 crew member and wounding 8 others. Other tankers were hit as well, and tanker traffic has slowed in the Strait of Hormuz. There have not been any attacks by Iran against Israel since early June. The last attack by Hezbollah into northern Israel was roughly 2 weeks ago. That said, Martha, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu issued this warning to Iran earlier today.
Do not count on it being quiet if you attack us. Do not count on a rerun. This will be a different event. Much more powerful.
So the U.S. naval blockade begins in less than an hour, Martha. Once it's fully enforced, it will block Iran from over $400 million a day. And once again, U.S. Navy and Air Force jets are bombing Iran again tonight. Martha?
6 rounds, as you say, Lucas, over the past week. It's a lot of kinetic action, and we'll see where it goes. Lucas Tomlinson, thank you very much. We're going to get to General Keane in just a moment. But breaking right now, we were just discussing this, a bipartisan group of senators honoring the late Senator Lindsey Graham, pushing the bill that he championed on Russian sanctions. Watch.
To do, to keep people safe, and to make sure we stood firmly on our values. Today, as we stand here, we remember him. We thank him for what he did to get us here. We thank all of his team for all that you did. We know Lindsey is looking down on this moment and with a big smile. He said that this would be the most consequential piece of legislation that he ever had an opportunity to get behind and get to the president's desk. Let's not forget that, because he did a lot of big things. But this one, he believed, would have the largest impact and would make the biggest difference. So let's do the right thing. Let's hold Putin accountable, and let's honor Lindsey Graham as we move this forward.
Thank you, Katie and Dick.
All right, as discussed, there is a lot of momentum behind this Russia sanctions bill. Lindsey Graham, in his last public comments, said that he believed that a resolution between Russia and Ukraine was closer than ever, and that this sanctions bill could be the tipping point that would bring us to that stage. General Jack Keane, standing by, joining me in moments as the United States military returns the blockade. It is assembling as we speak across the Strait of Hormuz. We'll be right back.
As America's largest private funder of brain aneurysm research, we support AI that enables earlier detection and saves lives. 1 in 50 Americans has a brain aneurysm, and ruptures strike without warning. Our early investment supported research that helped tech companies develop AI tools, enabling physicians to find aneurysms before they rupture. AI helps doctors act sooner and accelerates life-saving progress. Now is not the time to lose our competitive edge.
Consumer Cellular is lowering the price for those 50 and up. Get an unlimited line for just $35 a month. So switch to the carrier ranked #1 in network coverage satisfaction. Call, click, or come on by.
These bills are crazy.
She has no idea she's sitting on a gold mine.
She doesn't know that if she owns a life insurance policy of $100,000 or more, she can sell all or part of it to Coventry for cash, even a term policy.
Even a term policy?
Even a term!
Find out if you're sitting on a gold mine. Call Coventry Direct today at 800-496-9200 or visit coventrydirect.com.
My credit journey has been wild. If you want to build a business, it's really important. Kickoff helped me build credit fast. I started around 600, and within a year, my credit was up 84 points. Go to kickoff.com and build your credit today.
Think you need a new roof? Think again. Most roofing companies only make money one way, by selling you a new roof. But what if your roof isn't worn out, just dried out? And with just a little love, you could put off an expensive roof replacement for up to 15 years at a fraction of the cost of a new roof. RoofMax is a scientifically engineered restoration formula that brings your shingle life back to new. Scan the code and get a free roof tune-up with your RoofMax restoration.
During my recovery, the only thing I could think about was getting back to playing. Boost gave me the fuel to get back on the stage. Music is life. A real comeback deserves a real boost.
Trey Hinks goes one-on-one with Donald Trump, discussing the president's foreign policy agenda and the importance of controlling the Strait of Hormuz. Don't miss the exclusive interview on Special Report.
Weather is part of the American story. From the first heat wave to the first frost, Fox Weather is there for you.
I'm going to go see if I can help this lady out.
For all seasons, for all America, Fox Weather.
A new year dawns on the face of America. Now the journey can begin. The midterm elections. Fox News will be with you every step of the way. America is watching.
All that you see within these four walls, the words you hear, are never to be repeated.
Abigail, he is an abomination. Let no son.
He will never acknowledge me or the children.
Hell is empty. Devil save you.
I need you to open the door, man. Let's go.
Hey, supervillains. Punch her? You're joking me. Looking for a fight? Well, look no further. Cops is back with all new episodes.
That's a lot of crap.
Landy? These heroes mean business. Cops, all new episodes, streaming now on Fox Nation.
You did not announce yourself before you touched me physically.
.com.
Massive operations underway. CENTCOM posting brand new video of flight operations aboard the USS George H.W. Bush in the Arabian Sea. Some of this is from last night and today. And then you will see some images of the aircraft carrier itself as we enter night 4 now of the new ongoing punishing strikes against Iran. Some 300 strikes, U.S. strikes against Iran since July 10th. U.S. allies, including Bahrain and the UAE, have been struck. We have bases in both of those places. And then separately, on the waters, on the strait, one person was killed and 8 were injured aboard a commercial vessel that was struck by Iran. So this is a very, very active scene, as you can tell. All this as we count down to 4 p.m. Eastern, which is just about 44 minutes away from right now, as the blockade is being reassembled. The United States reassembling the naval blockade against Iranian traffic in and out of the strait. With that, we bring in retired 4-star General Jack Keane. former Army Vice Chief of Staff, now chairman of the Institute for the Study of War, and Fox News' senior strategic analyst. General Keane, it's great to have you with us today, sir. I'd like to start by just playing this exchange with President Trump earlier today, asking about whether or not he regretted lifting the blockade in the first place. Watch this.
Do you have any regrets about lifting the naval blockade or giving the sanctions waivers?
No, I gave them a chance. I wanted to give them a chance at making a deal. You know, we had a deal 2 days ago. It was done. And then all of a sudden, they couldn't do it. They didn't like something about the deal. They couldn't do it. And they shot first. And that was a big mistake that they shot first, because we have been knocking the hell out of them.
General Keane, your reaction to that and where we stand today as the blockade goes back into action?
Well, it's not a surprising comment. I mean, the president has given these people enormous amount of leeway here to come forward and really make a deal, and he actually signed a document, you know, on the 17th, not too long ago, that was supposed to provide testimony to a deal that they had achieved, and the Iranians, you know, kind of blew a hole in all of that, because a couple of days later they went out and violated the only agreement that was in the deal. The memorandum of understanding was an agreement to open up the Straits of Hormuz. We would remove the blockade, and Iran would remove their control and interference. That was the only thing that was really a deal. The rest of it was all a promise to solve the greater problems over a 60-day or possibly even longer period. And within a couple of days, we saw their violation of it. I think the president just threw up his arms and he's fed up with it. He's fed up with the lying. He's fed up with, you know, being played by these people. I mean, they look urbane, sophisticated, kind of dressed like us. They seem to be reasonable. They seem to appear that they truly want to do something here that's meaningful for their own people. But I think their actions reflect the 47-year history. That's the facts of it. Regardless of who's in charge right now, they are committing to the same ideology that their predecessors have done. And that's where the president is. And that is why we're watching right now the battle of the Straits of Hormuz unfold before our eyes. And it's got two major focuses to it. One is to take out all the things in the coastal area that permit them to interfere with shipping. So that, obviously that's drones, it's missiles, it's fast boats, it's their radars and sensors, it's their command and control, and whatever logistic infrastructure keeps that going. You saw them just take down a plant recently within the last several hours, and that's an indicator that that plant obviously keeps a lot of that equipment sustained. The second focus area, and this is crucial, is what is Iran doing about our attacking them? Well, one, they're trying to continue to interfere, but two, as you noted, Martha, they're attacking our allies and partners in the region and U.S. bases. And how are they doing that? Ballistic missiles and drones. So the second focus area is to take down as much of that retaliation as we possibly can. So we're going after the launch systems for the ballistic missiles, the missiles themselves, and their transporters. We're likely rubbling the entrances to the tunnels where they keep these, which we have done before. They excavated and took some out, and that keeps and contains those missiles in there. They can't get it out without a major engineering operation, and obviously we can interfere with that. Same thing with drone storage areas. So those are the two focus points. It's going to take some time. This is a condition-based operation. Cooper has been given Admiral Cooper the leeway to conduct this operation, and he'll know when he has satisfied the objectives in terms of reducing their capability to interfere and significantly reducing capability to retaliate. Probably about a week, but that I don't know for sure because it's a condition-based operation. But and obviously he'll report to the Secretary of War and to the President on how he's doing.
You just touched on exactly what I was going to ask you about next, General, and that is that I know you were frustrated by the imposition of the ceasefire in the first place, wanted to finish the targets that were still on the target list that Admiral Cooper had. To sort of continue to degrade their ability to fight in the Strait and to operate in the Strait. So you're saying another week? I remember at one point you said it would probably take 2 weeks to finish that target list. Give us an update on that, if you would.
Well, we're talking two different things here.
Okay.
This is a battle for the Straits of Hormuz and the limitations of what that is. We had 2 weeks to complete Epic Fury, And that deals with the whole comprehensive targets that we were dealing with. Leadership targets, IRGC organizations, industrial base, manufacturing capability, and the list goes on. We're not dealing with all of that here. We're dealing with a limited operation with the two focus points that I just provided you. That is another decision the president will make. He has the option to go back to major combat operations to complete the comprehensive target list. And we estimated at the time there was about 25% of the targets left that would take maybe 10 to 2 weeks. Now, obviously, some of those targets are being reduced here as a result of the focus on the Straits of Hormuz, to be sure. But there's a lot of other targets out there that are not involved in this battle that we're fighting.
All right, General King, lots more to talk about, so I hope you'll join us again. Thank you very much, General. Good to have you with us.
Yeah, great talking to you. Thank you.
You as well, sir. So we're going to get some thoughts from Britt Hume on President Trump's plan for the potential for charging fees. He sort of changed this around, and now it looks more like investment from the Gulf states that he wants in terms of the payback for being the guardian of the Strait. So we're going to get to all that with Britt right after this.
With a supply of beef cattle at a 70-year low, many outfits are now importing beef from Argentina and Brazil. At Riverbend Ranch, our Angus cattle are born, raised, and processed in the USA. Riverbend Ranch, real American beef.
Today's weather is more unpredictable than ever. You can get away from this weather, but your house can't. If you don't have the right windows and doors, water could find its way in. Renewal by Andersen is the nation's best window and door replacement solution. We don't just build our own windows, we actually make our own. It's designed for extreme weather with the strength and insulation of wood and the low maintenance of vinyl. We call it Fibrex material, but you might as well call it magic. Why? Because our windows won't warp like vinyl. They're not going to rot like wood, and they're certainly not going to corrode like aluminum. Maybe they are magic. Ta-da! Right now, you can lock in some amazing financing. Get no money down, no monthly payments, and no interest for 18 months. Now, you don't want just anyone putting in your new windows. That can lead to a lot of problems. You know who installs our windows? We do. Our certified master installers are true craftsmen with years of experience. Remember, we're the replacement window division of Andersen. And Andersen's been around for over 120 years. We're not going anywhere. The other guys? Yeah, sometimes they disappear, especially if things go wrong. We will answer the phone, and we will come out if there's ever a problem. Protect your home from all this crazy weather, and our financing can help make this project more affordable. Before July 31st, pay nothing for a year and a half. That's no money down, no monthly payments, and no interest for 18 months. Scan the QR code or call us at 1-800-704-4200. That's 1-800-704-4200.
My dad has never been in better shape. He had a stroke and passed away. He had a life insurance policy. Ethos.com. In 10 minutes, you can be covered with life insurance.
Check your price today at ethos.com.
Welcome to New Day Home, where your service is your down payment.
We didn't think we could buy a home. Our income is okay, and we always paid our rent, but we didn't want to touch our savings. Then we heard about New Day Home, and it changed everything. With New Day Home, your service is your down payment. You don't have to come up with a single dollar for closing costs. We close on our home without a single dollar out of pocket.
Not a single dollar.
You even get an Admiral certified real estate agent. And New Day's VA loan experts helped with all the paperwork and got us approved in minutes. We got the home we wanted. So I told 2 veterans, and they told 2 veterans, and so on, and so on, and so on.
Call New Day for your Admiral certified agent and VA loan approval in minutes. 1-888-605-0547 now.
A lot going on with the United States and Iran. President Trump reversing his plan a bit on the idea of a 20% toll on ships transiting the Strait of Hormuz in exchange for providing, quote, safety and security. He says he wants to be the guardian of free transit in the Strait. And here he is explaining where he is today on that issue. Watch.
I was called by different people, different countries, kings and emirs, and they said, we'd love to do it a different way. We'd love to invest in the United States with billions and billions of dollars. We would like to invest tremendously in the United States as opposed to charging a fee. And I like that, actually, because I don't think anybody should be able to charge a fee for the Strait.
Okay, with that, we bring in Britt Hume, Fox News chief political analyst. Britt, it's great to have you with us, as always. And I do want to get your thoughts on what the president said there. But first, I would like to ask you a little bit about Senator Lindsey Graham and what we just witnessed, the swearing in of Darlene Graham, his sister. And one of the issues that she's going to be dealing with is this Russia sanctions bill. And here's President Trump on that. And then I want to get your thoughts on the swearing in after we hear this.
Well, I know that Lindsey wanted it very badly. I think they may be adding Iran to it. They're going to add Iran, which is a very big thing. If they did that, they may add Hezbollah, too. Just put them if you do business with Hezbollah. So we're looking at that, but they're seriously thinking, and this is in honor of Lindsey. This was his thing. He wanted this more than any other thing.
Thoughts on all that, Britt?
Well, I think there's some momentum behind the bill, and that Lindsey Graham's death may well have added to that. The bill has some bipartisan support. And you can see that in the group of senators that was arrayed in the event they had to honor Lindsey Graham. Senators of both parties there gathered. So that's a sign for it. I think you have to be careful with a bill like this, that you don't load it up with so much extra stuff that you build opposition to it, which happens sometimes. Sometimes you add things and it helps, and sometimes you add things and it doesn't. So, but it's something to keep an eye on, and it may well, certainly it adds momentum in the Republican caucus in the Senate, and one imagines perhaps on the Democratic side as well.
Yeah, I mean, certainly a scene we just saw moments ago that none of us expected to be witnessing this week, and that's Senator Graham's sister stepping into his role in the United States Senate, Brett.
Well, that's right, and it's nice to see senators behaving themselves in the way that senators used to do more often in the old days before we entered this particularly contentious era. But you know, I wouldn't get too carried away with the effect of that and her potential influence, because in the end, these senators are going to vote the way they think it is in their interest to do so, and in keeping with what they believe about all this. And her presence in the chamber, I don't think is going to change a lot of minds.
You know, I want to ask you about this issue of the toll. I think, you know, when I heard President Trump say this yesterday, then we saw the Iranian leadership response saying, we'll only charge 15%, we want to be fair. It felt even at that point, just observing it, that this was not maybe something that was going to actually happen, that the United States wasn't going to be charging tolls to go through the Strait, but that it was sort of a bit of tit for tat that we saw play out, which sometimes happens. But President Trump's in a tricky spot here as he returns to the blockade, you know, returns to a lot of kinetic action in the Strait, something he didn't want to do just a few weeks ago as he looks towards the midterms.
Well, Martha, when all is said and done here, when the case is being made for and against what he did here, the critics are going to cite the cost of it, which has been considerable. And I think, you know, obviously he'd love to get reimbursed for some of it. And now that we're now going to mount the blockade again, and we're carrying out major military operations, maybe not the most major, but certainly more than we were doing. And that's going to add to the cost as well. And that will be part of the case against it. The cost in lives has been, militarily speaking at least, extraordinarily minor. Everyone is regrettable, of course, every casualty. But the cost in dollars at a time when the national debt is exploding, or has been, is serious. And, you know, if he gets a good outcome here, people may well say it's worth it. If it's less than conclusive, however, people will look at the cost and say, was it worth it? That's something that's obviously on his mind.
Yeah, 100%. Brett, thank you very much. We'll see you soon, Brett.
You bet. Thank you,
Thank
Martha.
you. Thank you, Fred Hume. All right, so top Democrat officials in Maine scrambling to replace Graham Plattner as some insist that there were no clues that he wasn't the ideal candidate. Watch.
I mean, I'm just not going to even try to pretend that I ever knew that something like this devastating would ever come forth.
Shocking. Lara Trump joins me next.
This is the true story of Luke and Ann, who spent a lifetime saving for retirement, but living off those savings.
Scary.
Scary. Okay, deep breath. Here comes their advisor, Matt.
Our job is to manage the money. Your job is to enjoy it.
And with a plan, Earn and Save became Invest and Spend. Family trips, world restaurant tours, and Luke's new tractor.
Riding lawnmower.
Right. Sorry. What matters is that with Matt's help,
We're getting a lot more enjoyment out of life.
JP Morgan Wealth Management.
What makes a Medicare supplement insurance plan, like an AARP Medicare supplement insurance plan from United Healthcare, a good choice for people on Medicare? It's smart for you to have now,
I'm 65.
and later on, for the future you.
I'm 70-ish.
It's really smart.
Hey, looking good. You made a great choice for us.
With this type of plan, see any doctor or visit any hospital that accepts Medicare patients. There are no networks. Your healthcare future will have more freedom.
And when I needed a specialist, no referrals needed, right? Bingo.
In fact, see any doctor anywhere in the U.S.
When I was at this cutie in Arizona, my plan goes with me. Grandkids! I can't wait.
Don't worry about surprise medical bills either. You'll know up front about how much your care will cost. And knowing your expenses makes planning your financial
Present quoting about some of these videos. And I'm watching the news.
That's right. Once you enroll, your coverage is guaranteed for as long as you keep this plan. Have questions? Call United Healthcare now to talk with a licensed insurance agent or producer. They know a lot about what makes these plans smart now and really smart later. Or just ask for this free guide. Benefits and rates in one place, so it's easy to compare options. Year to year, 94% of members renew their plan. And Medicare supplement plans with the AARP name are the only Medicare supplement plans endorsed by AARP, meeting their high standards of service and quality. So give United Healthcare a call today and set yourself and your future self up with an AARP Medicare supplement plan from United Healthcare.
Winnie, look at you. Thanks again for looking out for me. We're in this together.
An AARP Medicare supplement plan from United Healthcare. Smart now, really smart later.
Where's the admission desk at your hospital? You may need it sooner than you think. It's the middle of the night, and you, your spouse, or your child is sick, high fever, can't keep anything down, and getting worse. Now you're waiting in the ER, and everyone gets seen before you. And when you order prescriptions, you still have to wait for your pharmacy to open and hope they have what I prescribed. It's stocked with essential medications, including amoxicillin, generic Z-Pak, and ivermectin. Now you have the right medications when you need them. And it's why I and so many of my colleagues have medical emergency kits. It's like having an urgent care and pharmacy in your home. Just fill out a brief online medical intake, and your kit, prescribed by a licensed provider, is shipped to your door. Here's how to order.
Order your kit now and save $45. Visit urgentcarekit.com/USA. That's urgentcarekit.com/USA.
When I started Walton Goggins Goggle Glasses, I needed a website. And GoDaddy Hero uses AI to make a beautiful website so fast it'll blow my customers' noggins while they're shopping for Goggins for their noggins.
A Chewy order is on the way for Happy, who's happy from the tip of his tongue to the end of his tail. Because Mom uses Chewy to order Purina One for a difference he can taste and she can see. For life with pets, there's Chewy with Purina One.
All right, we were just discussing the escalation in the Strait of Hormuz, and now we just got this from CENTCOM just moments ago. U.S. Central Command forces began launching an additional round. This is night 4 of strikes against Iran to continue degrading Iranian capabilities used to attack commercial shipping in the Strait of Hormuz, as General Jack Keane spoke to us about just a short time ago. This is a targeted operation to degrade their ability to impact shipping within the Strait. We've seen them strike ships. We saw one person killed yesterday, 8 injured against a commercial vessel that was in the Strait by Iran. So that is what the effort is underway here, day 4 from CENTCOM. So these, the clock obviously is ticking in other places as well right now. On this time, it's for Maine's Democrats to try to replace Graham Plattner in a speedy time frame as their Senate candidate. They've got 13 days. They're going to hold a nominating convention on July 25th with about 600 delegates. There will be no primary for Maine voters to directly cast a ballot. Here is a Maine Democratic Party Executive Director, Devin Murphy Anderson.
That statewide primary within 2 weeks is physically impossible, right? We just cannot do that administered by the Maine Democratic Party.
So debate will happen this Thursday evening, held by News Center Maine, which invited candidates who received at least 20% of the vote in their June primaries. And with that, we bring in Laura Trump, former RNC co-chair and host of My View with Laura Trump. Laura, always great to see you. Thank you very much for joining me today. One of the things that these candidates are jumping on quickly is this ICE situation, which is under investigation, the killing of a man in Biddeford, Maine. But they seem to think that this is a pretty fruitful election potential campaign topic for them. Watch this.
This is not acceptable in America. A young man, a dad, has been killed by ICE. This must stop. We need to get ICE out of the streets.
How many more Americans must be murdered at the hands of Donald Trump's ICE agents before we finally decide to abolish ICE?
We're seeing growing protests in Biddeford. Laura, you were co-chair of the RNC. Susan Collins looks at this situation. Plattner is out, but now this is a very hot topic in Maine as well.
Yeah, well, this is straight out of the Democrats' talking points. You know, they want to abolish ICE. They want to, now a lot of these socialists, Martha, want to abolish prisons and these crazy radical things altogether. But they have a mess on their hands in Maine. There's no doubt about it. I think the most shocking thing to so many people is to see the way in which Maine voters, it seems like, don't really have a choice at this point. And we've seen this time and time again with the Democrat Party. If you go back to 2016, all the way up to today, it feels like they've been having a problem with allowing their voters to choose candidates. 2016, you had Hillary use super delegates to beat Bernie Sanders, where it felt like all the momentum was. Everyone remembers 2024 when Kamala Harris was just anointed, when it became clear that Joe Biden was unelectable. And now you have this situation in Maine, which may be the most egregious, because how many of these, elected Democrats and folks in the liberal media were telling people, yeah, we know Graham Plattner is a bad candidate. We know he's got a Nazi tattoo. We know that there are these horrible abuse allegations. You should vote for him anyway, until the polling showed he was going to lose. And now they have this mess on their hands. And I hope voters all across the country are paying attention to this party, what they're becoming, and the way it feels like, Martha, they really aren't allowing their voters to make the choices here.
If you're in Susan Collins' camp right now and you've got this Biddeford, Maine situation, which obviously these potential candidates are capitalizing on, and you have this very short term, Plattner probably would have been easier for her to run against. We'll see who they come up with. But what about it from her perspective?
Yeah, well, I think that I heard some of her commentary earlier today, which is that, ICE does an incredible job for our country. They're out there to keep Americans safe. And, I would look back to the Democrat Party for the fact that we have so many people illegally who crossed our borders, who are wreaking havoc across our country. I think she needs to point out, exactly what we've seen from a lot of these criminal illegal aliens in places like Chicago, where you have young women being murdered at their hands. ICE is out there doing a tough job. We all ought to thank them, and I think Susan Collins should double down on that talking point as well.
Interesting. Real quick, this is from the DSA co-chair, Ashik Sadiq, who you talked about calls to abolish ICE. This co-chair wants to abolish the Senate. Laura, watch.
We just don't see the point of the Senate. Historically, it was meant to serve very wealthy people.
Would you like to abolish the Senate?
That's part of our platform, and we don't think that's extreme.
Not extreme at all. Just tear up the Constitution and the formation of our government, Laura.
Yeah, when they say they want to fundamentally transform our country, we should believe them, because that's ultimately what socialism would do to America, right? We know it's never worked anywhere it's been tried. This is the total opposite of how our country was founded. These people are telling you what they want to do. We ought to believe them, and we never want to get these people elected.
Laura Trump, thank you. Always great to see you, Laura. We'll see you soon.
Thank you.
You bet. Thanks, Laura. All right. This is very moving, sad, incredible on the part of these police officers. Heart-pounding video. They are brave. They are compassionate. These officers behind the rescue of a woman from the Brooklyn Bridge. We will talk to them in a story exclusive.
My name is Chris. What's your name? I just want to talk. What's happening today? I want to help you. That's why I'm up here right now. I genuinely care. I do. It's a permanent solution to a temporary problem. It really is. I don't know what you're going through, but I want to understand.
Forget the warm-up. DirecTV got hot. They're on fire with more MLB games than anyone. Welcome to the big leagues, kid.
How old are you?
11.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought in a million years we'd have to use life insurance. With Ethos, it's so fast and easy. Get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage.
Check your price today at ethos.com.
Cars are cool. Rental cars are not cool. It's cool when you can pick the exact car you want, exactly where you want, for exactly what you need. No one needs this. Turo. Rent a car, not a rental car.
Be prepared for the next power outage with a Generac home standby generator. Your life goes on uninterrupted because you'll have power when you need it the most. Act now and you will receive a free 5-year warranty. Call or go online now.
A veteran who may have served in my time during the Vietnam era would be eligible today for a VA home loan. So many do not know that. There's no expiration date on your eligibility for the VA home loan. Every veteran, every service member out there, if you're thinking about buying a home, if you're thinking about a cash out refi, whatever you're thinking with a mortgage, you should come to New Day USA first.
Call now, 1-888-928-2089.
Today, kids are navigating an always-on world, consuming more information than ever before. Strengthening youth mental health starts with ensuring kids have strong digital and media literacy skills. Teaching students how to think critically about the content they see online helps them navigate digital spaces thoughtfully and intentionally. We need to teach media literacy in every school. Youth mental health is complex, but media literacy empowers educators and parents to keep kids safe.
Think you need a new roof? Think again and save thousands. We'll help you put off the high cost of a roof replacement for at least 5 years.
Or 10.
Or sometimes even 15.
We're America's most trusted roofer because we always try to save your roof rather than replace it.
We'll restore your roof for a fraction of the cost of a new one. But don't wait. If your roof loses too much protective coating, it's too late. Call now or scan the code and we'll give you an assessment of your roof for free.
Another devastating round of strikes against Iran. Meanwhile, certain Democrats seem to be rooting against our country. Yet again, we will explain right here on Hannity.
A new year dawns on the face of America. Now the journey can begin. The midterm elections. Fox News will be with you every step of the way. America is watching.
I have a comment. I have no choice. I need to follow it. When I speak to him, he answers.
A great podcast is all about great conversation. With the people you want to know more about, telling the stories you haven't heard about. It's got to be fun, no holds barred, and maybe a little bit R-rated. Pop culture, sports, politics. Let's get to the heart of what people really care about. So let's hang out.
Will Kane. One guy. Two hats. All heart.
Today, we keep Washington honest from the middle of America. This is a place where we dig deeper. I want to know the real story.
Watch and listen to the real deal.
The heart of the matter from the heart of America.
Watch The Will Cain Show live from Texas, weekdays at 4 on the Fox News Channel. And listen anytime to Will Cain Country.
727.
A parasitic infection with some nasty side effects now wreaking havoc on dozens of states as the CDC tries to pinpoint the possible culprit. Correspondent Brooke Taylor reports live from Dallas. Hi, Brooke.
Hi, Martha. Well, if you've stocked up on lettuce recently, you're going to want to pay close attention to this. And that is because health officials say it could be behind the parasite outbreak that's making thousands of people sick across the country. So Michigan health officials there say early evidence is pointing to lettuce and other leafy greens as a possible source of the cyclospora outbreak. The CDC stresses the investigation is still ongoing and it hasn't confirmed a specific food source. Other foods haven't been ruled out and no specific brand, grower, or supplier has been identified yet. So what is cyclospora? It's a microscopic parasite. It infects the intestines, causing diarrhea, nausea, and stomach cramps. Health officials say people typically become infected after eating or drinking something contaminated with the parasite. Now, unlike a stomach virus, it doesn't spread from person to person, and it could take days to weeks before you could see any symptoms. Well, thousands of cases, they're being reported across the country, even sending some to the hospital. The CDC says 34 states right now have confirmed infections. Michigan, though, hit the hardest, reporting over 2,600 cases so far. To put that into perspective, the state typically records 40 to 50 cases annually. And experts say the best way to protect yourself, wash your fruits and vegetables, wash your hands, and also cook your produce if you can up to 158 degrees, Martha.
Brooke, thank you very much. Thanks, Brooke from Dallas. So you are about to meet two heroes, two police officers who climbed to the top of the Brooklyn Bridge to save a woman's life.
Don't do it. Don't do it, please. Please. I got you. You're okay. You're okay. Yeah, I promise. I got you. Yeah, I promise. Everything is gonna be okay. You're not in trouble.
I'm seeing more and more people in their 40s and even in their 30s starting to prioritize their cholesterol health. They're doing what they can with diet and exercise, but want something more. Human Cholesterol Health Daily is that something more. A multi-action formula with plant-based ingredients backed by 3 clinical studies that demonstrate real, measurable support for cholesterol and vascular health. Founded in partnership with the University of Texas, this is modern-day cholesterol support I wish more people knew about. Only human.
Your next breakdown could cost thousands.
Unless you have endurance.
I will never pay for covered car repairs again.
This driver's not leaving without paying thousands.
These repairs cost thousands too, except the driver's not paying for it. Endurance is.
Endurance has saved me over $3,400.
It was like almost a $6,000 job. Endurance covered it.
If your car's out of warranty, a new water pump could cost over $1,300.
Over here, it's covered.
An engine, $8,000.
With Endurance, it's covered.
I tell all my customers, make Endurance pay for that car repair.
In my first year with Endurance, they covered a $14,000 engine replacement.
With Endurance, you can keep your car on the road longer.
And never pay out of pocket for a costly repair.
To save $1,000, I would take it any day.
Endurance covers your car's most expensive repairs.
Parts and labor included. A new steering rack.
The $5,000 head gasket repair.
Endurance covered it start to finish.
And your rate stays the same no matter how many claims you file.
I expected my rate to change, and it never did.
Plus, Endurance lets you pick the mechanic you trust to do the work.
Or take advantage of their VIP repair network.
So how much is Endurance coverage really?
Way less than you think.
Totally beat every other competitor.
If your car's under 20 years old, Endurance has you covered with unlimited miles. Plus, your plan includes 24/7 roadside assistance anywhere in the country.
So, who's gonna pay for your next car repair? You?
Nah, Endurance.
Right now, you can get $300 off any plan. Plus, a year of elite benefits, a $2,000 value, free. All backed by a 30-day money-back guarantee. Visit EnduranceWarranty.com or call 1-833-496-5752 for a free quote. That's 1-833-496-5752.
Remodeling the wrong way can be costly, so don't remodel. Jacuzzi bath remodel. If you need a shower done in a day and you want it to look beautiful, go to Jacuzzi.
There's no comparison before and after. It's so safe.
We're waiving all installation costs on your new jacuzzi bath or shower. And if you call right now, there's no interest and no payments for up to 1 year. Call now for your free consultation and quote. It's good for a full year. Call 1-800-201-5799 today.
Boys and girls all over the world are being abused and tortured.
The worst moments of these children's lives, they're being videotaped and they're being shared with other offenders all over the world.
Many people would refer to this as CSAM, child sexual abuse material.
They are suffering and they don't think that anyone is coming to help them. But we can. We can build that army and we can go get them.
Give monthly and fuel the fight all year long.
If your flow's more stop than go, it could be an enlarged prostate blocking the way. Lift the problem aside with a minimally invasive treatment, the UroLift system. Ask your urologist about the UroLift system today.
Mom, look what I got.
The Black Friday and July sale is now on. Visit beaches.com or call 1-800-BEACHES.
This is an incredible story, a heart-pounding rescue by New York's finest, the NYPD springing into action 100 feet above the ground and further than that from the water, talking to this woman who was in distress for close to an hour. They climbed up to get close to her and speak to her because they feared that she was about to take her own life, jumping off the Brooklyn Bridge. Here's some of the video of what happened up there. It was posted by Commissioner Tish's office. Watch.
You okay? My name is Chris. What's your name? I just want to talk. What's happening today? I want to help you. That's why I'm up here right now. I genuinely care. I do. I don't know what you're going through, but I want to understand. The strongest thing you can do right now is accept help. I promise you. What you gonna for? Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it, please. Please. I got you. Everything is gonna be okay. You're not in trouble.
I mean, there's so many emotions that go through your heart and your head when you watch this. Officer Christian Yepes, whose voice you hear on that video speaking to this woman, and Detective Eric Miller, who was right behind him, join us now. So, gentlemen, you saved this woman's life, and you're heroes, and we want to thank you for everything that you do at the NYPD. Gentlemen, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Chris, let me start with you, officer. Tell me what was going through your mind and your heart as you were climbing up there towards her and speaking with her.
Just wanted to reach her as quickly as possible, try to establish that basic human level interaction with her, introduce myself, because that's what it always starts with. What's my name? What's your name? So that's why I wanted to go up there, say, hey, my name is Chris. Wanted to find out her name, see why we were up there today, what led her to that point.
What in your training, does it just come from you personally or in your training? Because the way that you speak to her is very, it's very personal. You try to diffuse the situation a little bit, get her talking a little bit. Where does that come from, officer?
So it's a mixture of both, at the end of the day, like I said, we're human, and the best way to understand somebody is to put yourself in their shoes. And with the training and everything, that's what they tell us, try your best to understand that person, be empathic towards them, try to understand why they're there. And the training emphasizes on that, and it also emphasizes that sometimes it's not necessarily what you say, but it's how you say it. So.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Detective Miller, talk to us about your experience up there.
Basically, my objective was to support him. When you're talking to somebody, you tend to run out of words, things to say. He did a phenomenal job to keeping her engaged. That gave us time to plan to see if anything went south. It gave us time to come up with scenarios where we could give her water, cigarette, or something like that. So he did a pretty good job of keeping her engaged and give us the opportunity to come up with a plan to get her grab or talk her down.
And at the same time, you could fall off.
Right, so emphasis on safety also, so we had to keep ourselves safe. Yeah.
How are you braced up there? Is it just your 2 feet, or?
We were just standing on 2 feet, and we have called New York style extenders that we clip on to either side of the cable.
Yeah. Officer Yepes, there's a moment at the end that we just saw where you say, don't do it, don't do it. Was she slipping at that time?
I felt when I grabbed her that she was still fighting whatever was going on in her head to try to pull away. So, just try to reassure her that everything is going to be okay. Make sure that we'll try our best to get her the help that she needs, that we can get her to.
You say something to the effect of, that's a permanent choice, and this is a temporary situation. Talk to me about your belief in that and why you said that.
Because the reality of the matter is it is a permanent solution, and that's not the route that anybody should go down, because there are answers out there that for questions that somebody might have. There's solutions for whatever issue it is that you feel like you're going through. There are people that can help you. There are outlets you can reach out to, and even if you don't think that, you could always rely on a friend or even a stranger just to lean on and say, hey.
Have you ever been called upon as an officer to climb up on the Brooklyn Bridge and save someone's life before, or was this the first time?
This is the first time.
Were you shaking after? I mean, what goes through you afterwards? I mean, you've got to be very tense in that moment.
In that moment, I'm just focused on making sure she's okay, making sure everybody else is okay. So her safety and our safety is paramount. The nerves and everything with our training prepared us for this moment. So I'm not even thinking about that. And to get down, it's not just getting up, it's also getting down. So it's a whole process, and we just want to make sure we do it right.
Detective Miller, how many years have you been in the NYPD force?
Been on for 19 years, in the unit for 13 years.
And do you know how many times you've been in a situation like this where you were saving someone's life, roughly?
Lost count.
You've lost count. You get these calls all the time.
Yeah, unfortunately, yeah.
Well, I want to thank you. You're heroes, and you have so much compassion, and I'm glad that everyone had an opportunity, thanks to Commissioner Tisch, putting this video out there to really see what you guys do, and the compassion and the love that you have for your fellow New Yorkers. So I want to thank you both, officers. Thank you so much, and thank you for coming here today. Thanks for all you do. So that is the story. That's an emotional one. That's the story today. And we will be back here tomorrow. I will actually see you on the 5 tonight, about an hour from now, so stick around for that. And thank a police officer today for everything they do to keep us safe. We'll be right back.
Live from New York City, this is the Will Cain Show. I'm Griff Jenkins in for Will Cain. We begin today with a Fox News alert. At this hour, the blockade is officially back on. Right now, U.S. Central Command is resuming its naval blockade of Iranian ports in the Strait of Hormuz. After Iran has continued to target shipping in the waterway, today's action means a reversal for President Trump, who says he has no regrets.
Given how the Iranians have been behaving, do you have any regrets about lifting the naval blockade or giving the sanctions waivers?
No. I gave them a chance. I wanted to give them a chance at making a deal. We had a deal 2 days ago. It was done. And then all of a sudden, they couldn't do it. They didn't like something about the deal. They couldn't do it. And they shot first, and that was a big mistake that they shot first, because we have been knocking the hell out of them. They're very difficult people. 47 years we put up with it.
Just last hour, CENTCOM announcing an additional wave of strikes on Iran is underway after a wave of attacks last night, all aimed at degrading Iran's ability to attack commercial shipping. In the 5-hour mission overnight, U.S. forces successfully striking multiple military targets, hitting coastal defense systems, missile and drone sites, and maritime capabilities. Time will tell how this blockade will play out. But in the meantime, what we know for sure, traffic in the strait is the lowest it's been in 5 weeks. Yesterday, just 10 ships passed through, compared with 130 on an average day pre-conflict. And while today is just the beginning of the action, Trump has an idea of how things might end up.
And we will end up discontrolling the whole thing. And what they're doing is being very foolish, very stupid, and they've treated people horribly. They've killed 52,000 protesters so far that we can determine. It might be more than that, but 52,000 protesters have been killed, and it's really a terrible situation. But we'll have it under control very quickly. Yeah.
And with that, we kick things off with Lucas Tomlinson live in Tel Aviv with the very latest. Hey, Lucas.
Good afternoon, Griff. The blockade is back on, and when fully enforced by the U.S. Navy, it will cost Iran over $400 million a day. And tonight, on President Trump's orders, a 6th wave of U.S. airstrikes is striking Iran. That's the 6th time over the past week. Now, it's been relatively quiet here in Israel.